wondering why would you do Twilight. And the reason why I would do Twilight is because I have very strong and mixed opinions about this movie. Now, I'm not gonna bash it because I'm gonna be honest with you, I hate Twilight. But on a good note for all you Twilight fans out there, I'm not gonna bash this film. The reason why is because my personal feelings, like I said, I do not like to mix in with the movie. Unless it's a comic book movie, then that is different. But because Twilight is a book, it's a different type of field. Now, I never read the books. I've only seen the movie. And I will never read the books. Sorry, I just won't. Now, I'm doing Twilight. Now, where to begin? I saw the movie on my own because my girlfriend told me that I should see it. And she would not stop talking about it ever since it came out. So I said, well, I saw Harry Potter. Might as well see this, right? So I saw it. And here's my personal opinion about it. The movie kind of frustrated me because I felt it was a super date movie. But unless you was a female who has been 14 at some point and had a crush on some strange, badass looking dude, the movie was okay. I mean, I love romance movies. It's odd, but I love them. The Notebook, A Walk to Remember. They're sappy. They're super, date movie. They're super girly, but I like them. It lets you get in touch with those emotions that a lot of people don't like to discuss, or it's too romantic, or whatever the case may be. A lot of guys don't like it, but I do. So this movie, the story was it was okay. I guess because it's adapted from the book, a lot of people have told me mixed things. They said it's exactly like the book. Other people said that it's not. But from a film standpoint, the problems that I had with the movie have nothing to do with the actual plot, but the execution. The thing was that a I felt that the villains came right at the end. That happens in the book. You're supposed to concentrate more on the romance, but I never felt this whole lingering suspense of um, villains. It just felt like this is a love story, and I felt like when you watch a stereotypical romance movie, it's boy meets girl, they fall in love, they break up for some reason, and they get back together, and that's the end. Or they never do, or they die, or whatever, how the ending goes. With this movie, it was more like boy meets girl, boy and girl fall in love for mad long, and then at the end, there's villains. I just felt like it was an added in climax, like the story didn't know where it was going, book wise and movie wise. I just felt that they just didn't know how to end it. Obviously, the guy can't die; he's a vampire, and the thing that also frustrated me about just the Twilight franchise itself is that it disrespects vampires. I know the writer didn't know anything about vampire lore when they wrote the book, but I felt that it would have been better if you would have wrote the story, went back, and tried to fix it. Cause the whole vampire thing just frustrated me. They're not allowed in daylight. They're not shiny diamonds. They're not something that should be like an elegant, beautiful thing. Even though he says that at some points that he's made to hunt and he's made to be an animal. That's the way vampires are. I mean, that's the way they're portrayed. That's the way it should be. That whole I don't think that could happen between a vampire and a human. And if so, it would probably be the human falling in love with this vampire. This is the thing that kind of frustrated me. If the vampire, the main character was so old, what was it that made him fall in love with her? Because she was so young. I mean, if you think about it, this guy's like 300, 400, 5, whatever 100 years old. What compelled him to fall in love with this like 14-year-old girl? It just didn't make sense to me. The love story is what didn't make sense. Because if you've lived all this time, you would never find somebody that's equal to you, that can satisfy your, the who you are. How could he? He has to teach her everything, and he doesn't want to turn her into a vampire. So I mean, she's gonna end up dying anyway. So why would you let yourself get entrapped in that whole scenario? It didn't make sense. Like he was like, oh well, I love the way your scents are. I love that I can't figure you out. But there has to be something more than that for you to fall in love with somebody. And that's just the way I felt. I felt that certain things were just not in depth in the story. And I felt that it was, even though it is a love story, it's just too concentrated on it. I mean, if you're gonna have that climax at the end, you gotta have like this luring suspicion, something's going to happen. I felt like it didn't. It was just like, yeah, we got vampires. They're killing people. Oh my god, the end! Oh, wow, this is actually happening. I just, it was kind of random. Baseball game, and then all of a sudden they're just there. And it's like, oh, well, we want that chick. Give her up. So, I mean, other than that, the movie was okay. It wasn't something that I'm gonna say I absolutely hated. I've seen worse films out there, but it kind of frustrated me as a person who liked vampire movies or as a guy watching a romance movie. It was just two different aspects that just did not, to me, connect well. It just was not fitting, I would say. Vampire love story. Just, unless it's two vampires, I don't know. Or they had a more of a reason to fall in love, I guess. It would be something. But the it was just, I don't know, it's hard to explain. I guess it's the story itself that frustrated me, not the film. The film was I was actually like, it's okay. It's not bad. I wouldn't say I absolutely hated the film. I just didn't like it. So I respect everything that was done in the film. Um, the special effects, the way it was shot, it would look really good on Blu-ray. I would say that. But story wise, as a guy just watching this movie, it just felt like it's okay. So I would rate this movie honestly. I would give it a. I'll give it a 6. Yeah, I'll give it a 6. It wasn't the best movie I've ever seen. I did not attach myself to any of the characters. I did not feel for any of the characters. I felt it was very stereotypical the way they portrayed the male vampire. Super pale, mysterious, always doing like this and stuff like that. And the same thing with the teenage girl. It was just, I felt like I was watching a high school vampire movie, which me being out of high school, I didn't want to be back in high school to see this love story. I mean, it was just like, it was a super high school movie with vampires. That's what it was. So that's just the way I see it. Unless you've been in high school nowadays and had this super sex appeal for vampires and you was a 14-year-old girl, you will love this movie. Trust me, you will love this movie. But if you're not gonna like it. It's just gonna be okay. And that's just the way I see it. So, that is my personal opinion. It's a number 7. I'm not saying don't watch it. I'm just saying watch it, but just know what you're getting yourself into. Um, so that's my personal opinion about Twilight. I know I'm gonna get prosecuted for this because Twilight heads are gonna, come after me. But that's just my personal opinion. So, this is Razor Rants for the Masses, and I'll catch you on the flip side.